human resources for him. Establishing and launching centers of excellence like this helps us to concentrate all the efforts of society to find solutions.
As a company that has the patient's best interest at heart at all times, we decided this was a good initiative.
We've got sister clinics in Tygerberg and Groote and Cape Town, so we are trying to establish at least a national footprint of the disease, so we work together to try and get as much information as possible.
Today we also honoured a South African icon, the form of Joost Bara ONLINE.
And anyone who knows Joost knows that when he's on a mission, he's on a mission.
Well, being a professional sportsman, your life, you live a false life. Now is my time to give back, and it makes me very humble.
She was very outgoing, whenever she needed something, like, or she really needed to get something for me, she'd do her best to do it. So I really look up to her.
She was a police captain at the DDR police station. It's just next to us here.
She was starting to be very spastic, very stiff. She started using crutches now to walk around the house or wherever. And then her speech sometimes would go away and come back, and yeah.
Yeah, she got sick. Couldn't know that where we should go.
It was very, very frustrating within those months because of, you'd spend so much money, but you'd get no help, and you wouldn't know what's going on. So it was very, very frustrating.
Oh, it was bad, but we have to accept it.
It's very painful to see your mom in this condition, and then I had to stop my life and take care of her. So a lot of things I'm angry about, but I have to move on and take care of mom.
Just picture a patient who's coming from an underprivileged area, who's hardly mobile, is coming with 2 family members in a taxi, gets shoved into a taxi, he's got no wheelchair, gets carried like a sack of potatoes into the clinic, and then had to go and see maybe 10 or 12 different healthcare professionals, from an occupational therapist to a speech therapist to a psychologist. Imagine the inconvenience of that. Did a patient like that have any will to carry on? I don't think so.
What Joost really cared about was bringing care to people who are unable to get it themselves because of lack of resources.
I remember bad man, but no, my no phone. We brought in the professor from South Africa to see if we can do a collaboration.
Joost was really excited because he felt things were going to come together and that we could replicate some of what we saw. And what we saw at those centres of excellence was that people had access to multidisciplinary care and they could participate under the same roof in research. At the time in South Africa, that did not exist. And Joost pulled us aside and he said, when we get home, we are going to build us a centre. That was the day that An Impossible Dream was born. It was also the day that the Joost van der Westhuizen Centre for Neurodegeneration, which has to be the longest name in history, was born.
With support of the the Baragwanath Hospital Management Team and the Department of Health and obviously University, we have then gradually tried to develop a clinic. It took us about a year to get this all going.
We want to thank you as a family for sharing Joost with us. He's a hero for South Africa. He's a South African hero. And even now, when he has parted from this world, he remains a hero in terms of giving us hope, re-energizing us to even do more for society.
We try to minimize the impact of coming to hospital on our patients. You can imagine that somebody with MND would need multiple appointments. They need to see the speech therapist, they need to see the physiotherapist, they need to see the neurologist, up and down, back and forth to the hospital. So the clinic was born out of a need to try and condense all the services that patients need to access and provide them with a kind of one-stop shop.
So when we come for the seating, let's also just look at making so painful.
There were so many doctors there. That's what I like at Bana.
We try and implement as many compensatory strategies as we can, whether that's recommending alternative feeding, so peg tubes, feeding tubes, physiotherapy, looking at adapting their mobility, occupational therapy, looking at adapting maybe they need a wheelchair or an assistive device to help them access things in their environment, and then also looking at their communication.
I think today, not only is he known for being an excellent rugby player, a good South African ambassador, but he's known for taking a quantum leap in destigmatizing motor neuron disease. 2, 3. Yay! Happy! We're going to try and be as efficient as we can in the procedure.